Kia ora, back here from New Zealand. How you going? Hope it's good. I hope that these videos are helping at least one person out there, you know. Anyway, I wanted to talk about dimensions, because dimensions, we need to understand dimensions and that we are multidimensional to understand the beings that are out to harm us and manipulate us and hurt us and take our children and do the same thing to them that they did to us. And like this is why they call speak of generational curses, curse breakers. So this is the generation where it's at. This is where it stops, and they go without their lunch, literally. So dimensions, my experience, the best experience, an example that I can share that shows and help me to like well and truly understand that we're multidimensional. I mean, I kind of knew it beforehand, but now I really know it. It was not even a near death, because it was a death. I did die. It was after a brain surgery in Dunedin, in New Zealand, back in 2016 or 17. And I was like really, really ill. I had the surgery, I had a brain leak. Not a brain leak, the dura that goes around your brain is like up and down your spine and holds all the fluid that your brain floats in. Well, it had a hole in it now because of the surgery, and it was leaking, so it was just pouring out of my nose. I put a shunt in my spine and screwed up my spine as well, and anyway, everything went out of whack, and I was really unwell, and I was just lying there drifting around one day, and somehow I became aware that I was out of my body, and I was still in the room, kind of, but I was looking at myself thinking, oh, I'm over there. It's weird. And when I looked back around, I wasn't there anymore. I was in kind of like the universe, really. It was like a universe. It was a beautiful blue, black, dark colour. There were stars everywhere, and I was standing on my silver cord. I could see my silver cord going back to my body. That's right. I became aware that I was standing on my silver cord and holding my silver, or standing on something and holding my silver cord. That's right. And I looked back, followed the cord back, and saw it going back to my body. And I was like, wow, we have a silver cord. We do have a silver cord, you know. And so all of this stuff, it's like there is no time there. So there's one thing. Time is a dimensional thing. We tend to think of it as linear, but it's not. It's circular. All time is now, and that is where it is your power. So it's like, I don't know, you just know these things. It's clear cognizance. So I'm looking over there, and a million things are flashing through my head. It's like I think I'm dead. Well, I'm definitely out of my body. What's going on? And I'm inching away from my body, like holding the cord and shuffling my feet sideways and going further and further away. And I was like, actually, I do think I'm dead. Is this going to be a problem? And you think about all the people that you love, and things that are going on, and you know, again, the clear cognizance, clear knowing, you know that everything's fine, everything's perfect, and that right action is taking place, and everything will be all right. Like, you just have this like ultimate faith and trust that everything is just perfect. And I was like, wow. And it's the best feeling. It was like there's no pain. You feel I was feeling like overwhelming joy. It was incredible. And I went, well, I surrender. And I let go of the cord and let myself fall backwards. And it's not even like there was a sensation of falling, but it was definitely moving. And I was looking at all the stars around, and then they were kind of getting bigger, and I realised that they weren't actually stars. They were people, or souls. They were souls. And that I was one too. So I was just like, it was absolute bliss, complete knowing, complete love, just mwah, yum, you know, just, it's really, really hard to explain. So I'm falling, but not, and these giant hands come underneath me from behind and lift me and place my feet back on whatever it was standing on, fold over my hand, run down my arms and onto my hands, put my hands back on the cord, and this voice that was in my head, sort of, and all around me said, a beautiful presence, obviously, said it wasn't my time and that I had things to do and I had to go back. And as I started to protest and say no, I was slammed at 1,000,000 miles an hour back into my body, and I didn't want to be there. So it was a little depressing for a bit, but it opened up my eyes, because when, I listened to some podcasts on death and dying, like Ram Dass and things like that, and he says death is, nothing to be afraid of, and it's not. I think most people are afraid of the pain, really, or that they're going to end, and you don't. You're an eternal being, if you're one of us. And he said it's like taking off a tight shoe. And it is. It's like you're the giantest soul ever squished into this tiny little body, and it's uncomfortable. So there's that. And the fact that someone else had said, your loved ones, they haven't gone anywhere. It's like they're in the next room, right next to you. And that's how it is. That's the only way I can describe it. Clearly, I was in a different dimension. Clearly, the people around me couldn't see me and weren't aware of what was going on. And to have that understanding and that clear knowing of how time worked and souls and everything's perfect, and souls are just doing exactly as they plan to do, and nothing is by chance. I understand that. It's just so peaceful to have that understanding and knowing. And to come back into your body and realise that you're in this very limited and painful place that, obviously it can be beautiful too, but that's how you're perceiving the world, from your soul being squished into this little biosuit that is all yours to move around and operate through to make adjustments and changes. I mean, if you think about it, what do we do all day? We move things around. We breathe in air and molecules. There's an exchange inside of us. We breathe out. We eat food. There's an exchange and a transformational process inside of us, and it comes out. What we don't need comes out. And we basically use this form to express words, move things around, and it's up to us, because we have free will, on how we're going to express our soul's calling, our heart, our creator, where we came from, because we're like a giant extension of that. Well, we're an extension of the giant part, kind of. How do you put that? We're an extension of Source. We're here experiencing this world. We know what we're here to do, and some of us are waking up to that more and more. Some come in conscious of that straight from the go-get. And as I say, we have free will, and we can make choices about how we're going to use this form, and whether we're going to look after this form and preserve life, or we're going to abuse it for a bit and indulge in the lower appetites, or refine everything and live our best lives, which is hopefully what's happening. So we are eternal, I understand that, and it is just like dropping a shit. We literally just drop the body, as some of the cultures say. I've had another experience with a gentleman years and years ago, driving down the road on my way to a massage, looking forward to it. See a van sort of parked at an angle on the curb, man lying on the ground, child kneeling over, well, not say child, teenage, young man leaning over him. And I know that the guy's not well, and stuff's going on, and part of him, and there's this battle going on, like Spirit saying to me, you got to go over there, and I'm like, I want to go and have my massage. Anyway, I went righto, so I pulled over, went over, and we ended up doing CPR on him. He'd collapsed while he was driving. Grandson had pulled him out onto the lawn, and that was when I'd come along. So luckily for us, he had just done a CPR course to do with his chefing that he was learning, and like I'd done CPR and what do you call it, St. John's years and years ago, so I knew too. And I said, well, you're going to do that bit and I'm going to do this bit. So I was doing the compressions on the chest and he was doing the breathing, and we worked together like that for a bit. I didn't realise, because there's a whole lot going on, obviously, it's a bit freaky, that he hadn't cleared the airway. So we were doing this, and I said, I don't think this is working, because we weren't getting any results. And the grandfather coughed something out. I don't know what it was, can't remember. And we looked at each other and went, shit, and got started again. Kept going, and it's really, really hard work, especially for the young man breathing. It's like, I know from experience, it's like blowing up a bloody hot water bottle. It's hard. So he was doing that, I was doing the compressions, and next minute I said, please, can we have some help? Please, can we have some help? And these two nurses that had just finished work pulled up. They were just walking down the street on their way home and said, can we help? And we're like, yes. So they took over, and they were like a machine, man. They were good. So we stepped back, sort of a bit shattered, and I was standing there holding the space, and I realised that I could see the grandfather standing there watching the whole thing. Now I know what was going on there. At the time I didn't, I just knew that he was there, and he was trying to decide, and don't ask me how I knew that, but he was trying to decide whether he was coming or going. And I said, well, dude, you better decide soon, because your physical form's going to run out of oomph very shortly, and there'll be too much damage done. And anyway, bang, he went back into his body. Away they went, the ambulance, etc. So this old man got, like, the grandson and I stayed in touch for a bit. It turned out the old man, his grandfather, got another year of life. He'd already lost his wife. He got another year of life. He didn't want to meet me, which is fair enough, because he was in a pretty vulnerable and